Hello and welcome to Manga of the Week. Today I'll be covering Shingeki no Kyojin, The Advance of the Giants. Contrary to what I said last week, this is actually a shonen, not a seinen action horror title, written and illustrated by Hajime Isayama. It began its run in 2009 and it is an ongoing series. So, you have the Earth, with human history progressing until, I'd say, the mid-Renaissance, so you have cannons, you have siege engines, and primitive rifles, things like that. But suddenly, these things called Titans appear. Now, the Titans look human for the most part, but they're faster than humans. They're strong enough to take off their own head just swatting at something on their face. They're bigger than humans. They can be anywhere between 3 and 60 meters tall. For us Americans, that's anywhere between 10 and 200 feet. They eat people, but they don't really seem to need to since they're solar powered, and they vomit up everything they eat anyway, so it seems that they just do it for kicks. And they can regenerate from any wound, so they attacked humanity, and humans decided to consolidate their forces within a series of concentric rings of walls, right? I'm going to start the spoilers now before I start talking about characters, because pretty much everything about the characters is some kind of spoiler. So, yeah, spoilers. Your main character, Eren Yeager, he's, I'd say, about like 17 or 18. The first chapter is him and all his friends graduating from the military academy and entering the main forces. He wants to kill every Titan ever because they killed his parents. He's a really good fighter, but he's very impulsive, very brash. He doesn't really have much in the way of tact. And he discovers in his first major battle that he can summon a 15-meter tall Titan. It sort of kind of looks like him. There's really not much in the way of skin on some of the bigger Titans, but it does look like him. It fights like him too, which tips the reader and the other characters off that there's something different about this one Titan. His adopted sister is a girl named Mikasa Ackerman. She's apparently the last Asian in the world because all the others were eaten by the Titans. She isn't as good a fighter, but she's definitely, above and beyond Eren in leadership qualities. And your third main character is Armin Artlet. He's not a leader or a fighter at all. In combat situations, he just freezes up. He can't move at all. But he's a really good strategist and tactician before going into the battle, so he tends to be an invaluable part of whatever team he belongs to. So I'm not going to talk about any of the other characters at all, because there's a lot of character death. You get introduced to most of Eren and Mikasa and Armin's friends within their graduating class in the first 2 chapters. You get all of their names, but then you move into the first major battle, and then Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are the only ones to come out alive. So the military wises up to Eren being able to summon this Titan, but they think he's a traitor, that he's leading the Titans to the city, and they court-martial him because, of course, he's a member of the military, so he's under their jurisdiction. And they exile him outside the walls and place him within the care of the Scouting Legion, which operate entirely outside the walls, and they're pretty much in the thick of it all the time. And it's pretty much a suicide squad because nobody has ever come back ever. The most recent development has been that there is another Titan, like the one Eren can summon, and it seems to have the same type of fighting skill that Eren has, which means it could be any one of the Scouting Legion which means they have an actual traitor in their midst. A lot of shonen series, a lot of series for for teenage guys, when you have scenes where the characters are supposed to be afraid and you're supposed to be afraid for them, it never really pans out, because the threat is there. It's just that you never see the consequences of the threat, or even if the threats are carried out, they get carried out off screen and you just see reaction shots and blood splattered on the wall. It doesn't work that way here. The Titans attack and they just start eating people. One guy gets chomped in half of the waist. Another guy gets smacked diagonally and he has like nothing from here down. It's really gruesome. You remember what I said about vomiting up the people? You see that. You see the pile of human remains, and it's kind of jarring. But then again, it is an action horror series, so you really get that gut punch, and you feel afraid for the characters because the threat of death is very real. During the Titan on Titan fights, whether it's between Eren or the other human Titan hybrid fighting the regular Titans or each other, you really get a feel of what the Titans are supposed to represent. See, the humans, when they're flying and spinning around with the 3D maneuvering gear, it's supposed to be, human ingenuity. We're small, but we're fast and we're skilled, even though we're physically weak. But the Titans, it's just, I'm gonna wail on you until you stop moving, and then I'm gonna move on to the next thing. It's brutality, it's savagery. Especially when the Eren Titan fights the mysterious female Titan hybrid. Because Titans being so strong that they can injure themselves, the Eren Titan punches the female Titan so hard that his entire hand just explodes. It's very animalistic, and one of the limitations of manga is, or any static visual medium, is that it's very difficult to achieve a convincing semblance of motion, and I think Isayama does that beautifully. When I see a punch being thrown, I'm not just seeing punch with speed lines. I really think I'm seeing, holy crap, there's a punch swinging through the air. It's gonna come through a house and kill a bunch of people. The writing, I'll use this as a precedence for all future videos. Because this is a manga, all of the writing is going to be translations, and a lot of this is going to be amateur work. So I'm not going to dwell much on that part. It's mostly just going to be story, art, themes like that. I'd honestly, even though I really like the series, I'd give this a 6 out of 10 because with a monthly series like this, you expect there to be a lot of content coming in. I've been following the series monthly for I think like 4 or 5 installments now, and the story hasn't really moved forward any. But it's definitely worth the read, unless you can't really stomach gruesome death. You should probably stay away if you are of a light constitution, if you don't have the stomach to handle it. Next week, I will be reviewing Iris Zero. This is another shonen series, but this time it's a slice of life fantasy. This was recommended to me by a friend of mine, and again, that'll be up next week, so see you then.